But first, security experts and politicians have sounded the alarm on an upcoming conference by Hizb Ut-Tahrir set to be held in Sydney. The event's flyer bills it as Islam, the change the world desperately needs, going on to say that Gaza has exposed the moral decay of the global order. Now, for what it's worth remembering, Hizb Ut-Tahrir is a proscribed terror organisation in the United Kingdom, but not so here in Australia. Despite what the Home Affairs boss, the ASIO chief, Mike Burgess, said less than a week ago.
Hizb Ut-Tahrir wants to test and stretch the boundaries of legality without breaking them. As with neo-Nazis, this does not make their behaviour acceptable. I fear its anti-Israel rhetoric is fuelling and normalising wider anti-Semitic narratives.
Joining me now to discuss genuine concerns about the conference, former AFP Detective Superintendent David Craig. David, let's just help people at home understand the purpose of these conferences, because it's not necessarily who is in the room present in a geographic sense. Part of what they do with very professional filming and cinematography is to use it as an online recruitment tool. It'll go widely in Australia, of course, but it'll go right around the world. They'll use it to proselytise. They'll use the internet to spread hate and hopefully bring on particularly young people, particularly young boys, into their cause. So given what the ASIO chief said just last week about Hizb Ut-Tahrir, how on earth is this going ahead?
Well, Peter, if I had my way, it wouldn't be going ahead. I don't think any fair-minded Australian would like that. From a security perspective, any event that provides a platform to broadcast hate, and that's what Hizb Ut-Tahrir are doing, should be banned. It should be stopped. But there were people from the civil liberties groups that will say there's freedom of speech, but at what point do we draw the line? These people are working in the grey area between good, honest Muslims and radicalised Muslims. They're targeting people to bring them across to the radical side of Islamist thinking. And while they say they don't support violence, they step back from it. But we all know what goes on in the sidebar conversations at these types of conferences.
Yeah, we know that, they'll have a log-on process for people who want to watch it remotely. And, of course, once they harvest these email addresses, they'll be in constant contact with the people that join them, even if they're joining them just for a look. The hope is that they'll be able to recruit them to their cause. What would you say to the argument that we might hear from the Home Affairs Minister or others later on this week that they don't have the legislative power to stop this conference? What would you say to that?
Look, while it may be technically true at the point of law, we need to look at the behavioural intent of what our hate laws in New South Wales actually stand for and what they're actually meant to capture. I don't think the law is modern enough in that respect. Like these groups that espouse this hatred, they're very adept at changing their coded signs or messages or salutes or what have you, to avoid the legal technical terms. But if we can capture the behavioural intent, and I'd say that the behavioural intent of Hizb Ut-Tahrir is very clear, it's to get like-minded Muslims together and motivate them to for an Islamic caliphate, get rid of Israel, have global order under Sharia law. I mean, I think that's quite an offensive thought, so it would be nice to be able to see that stopped. Given that it is in Tony Burke's electorate, Peter, I don't know why Tony doesn't actually attend, because his constituents, it's open to the public. You can apply online. All he's got to do is give his name and his phone number and email address. And I'm sure Tony would be very welcome to go there, and he should sit there and just see if he finds this offensive or not. And if he didn't, I would be very surprised.
I think sunlight's the best disinfectant, David. I'd be sending a camera crew to record the whole thing and broadcast it out on television, and hopefully that might get them to curtail some of their hate. Related to this, and this is the not funny in a humorous sense, but it's the weirdness of this paradigm. It's where the hard left, the radical left, and the radical right, the hard left, in this case neo-Nazi extremists, on the right, where the hard left and the hard right sort of almost come together in this shoehorn effect. You've got this rally outside the New South Wales Parliament on Saturday. Chris Minns says we need more stringent laws. The police did get an application. The police did approve it. The police chief commissioner was out there today saying, oh, miscommunication. Really, miscommunication when you look at that allowed to continue throughout the morning in Sydney. Again, this makes every Australian, I think, very uncomfortable. And this also is about getting their name, their brand, their website out there. And again, it's all very well filmed. I could see they had camera crews there. This is designed to go on the internet as much as it is designed to be witnessed by people walking past.
Yeah, that's right, Peter. It is ironic that it seems in Australia that we've got the foundations of two Nazi parties, if you like, the Islamic Nazi Party and the Neo-Nazi Party. Now, they don't like each other's ideologies, of course, but they are using the same playbook. It's the same mentality. It's the same lack of tolerance. It's the same total control. It's the eradicate the Jewish state. It's telling people what to think and what they should do. And this, they think that both groups think through a form of violence that they can purify the world into their own form.
So how did the police, back on that infamous protest down at the Sydney Opera House, days after, just I think 24 hours after October 7, the police take from a man an Israeli flag and they arrest him at the time. They later release him without charge. But they take him off the street when he was down there in a very peaceful way, holding up a flag of a nation state that's lawful and democratic. Yet this stuff goes on. It looks like, you know, Hizb Ut-Tahrir will have their conference in Bankstown and these black-clad individuals are standing outside the parliament. How does that happen?
We really need to have a close look at this, Peter, for sure. It's we all know the Opera House horses bolted and New South Wales Police dropped the ball big time on that. They took way too long to act on it. They took far too more of a technical approach as to whether there was hate laws being broken there. They needed to get on the front foot with that a lot quicker. Similarly, if you see the neo-Nazis do that, then you see generally, until recently, the police take a very quick approach to that. What we need to see is some equality in our intolerance to their intolerance. We need to see the police prepared to move forward and act on these events very quickly.
You were not wrong. I've never forgotten the pregnant mum who was arrested in her pyjamas in her lounge room because she'd posted something about a COVID protest. So there you go, police. Get your work cut out for you there. Thank you, David. We'll leave it there.